right. So playoff leaders, where you want to start, Joe? Anything interest you?
Well, I think we wanted to go right to Ayuk since we were talking about him, and everybody believes that he's going to be playing 2 more games, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Ayuk is an interesting look there for the receiving leader, since he's only played one game, and then he's got a couple of opportunities. He's way back there, but the Lions, what numbers are you going to have to get to catch Amon-Ra St. Brown? I mean, that's the big question. So at the top, you've got Amon-Ra, you've got Rice second, Kelsey third, Reynolds fourth. I mean, the odds are telling us that none of the top 4 are going to have that extra game in the Super Bowl. You'd rather go Ayuk than Kittle at 14-1.
I don't know if Kittle pops twice the way he needs
will
to.
I expect him to this week. But if they go to the Super Bowl against the Ravens or Chiefs, it's going to be tough. Yeah.
I mean, if Kittle, what did Otten have? Did Otten have like 80 last week? So
yeah, the big game.
He's at.
Is it 154?
So if he goes 80 times 3, you're at 240. So you need at least 100 this week, I think, from Kittle, which is definitely possible. Yeah. But he's still got. I mean, he's a little less than 200 back from what we're projecting. Like if Amon-Ra has a on-market game.
I think you're right, though. Ayuk is the look. For receivers. And the rushing yards one, Pacheco has an 86-yard lead over Lamar, 87 over Gibbs, 88 over CMC. So it's really close. If Pacheco doesn't play an extra game, can he still win this?
It's just tough with the turf toe. I don't even know what to make of that. I mean, I can't imagine. He's been on such a roll, and I wish he was healthy because I think he could have a good game, but that just makes me worried about any type of futures with him.
So Lamar is plus 850. And like I mentioned, he's 86 behind Pacheco. So you knock out Gibbs because the expectation is the Lions are done. CMC's a concern. So can Lamar catch Pacheco? Pacheco doesn't get that second game. Yes, at 86 back. Now you're battling with CMC. So that's the challenging part. But at plus 850 versus plus 120 for CMC, I'll take my chances there.
I would tattoo
I laid 6.5
a photo of Dan Campbell's face on my ass if they won.
Excuse me?
That's legally binding.
Holy cow. There's going to be a lot of Instagram photos then. Hold on.
Make that your first Hinge picture at the top of your profile. You're cooking with gas, friend.
We got that on record.
The Lions are not winning outright. I'm not even worried about it.
Is that a bet?
All right, so is this it? Do we have the bet?
I mean,
and then you get the quote.
And we cut the social clip there. Nobody wants to bet against Christian McCaffrey. Betting against Christian McCaffrey is the black hole of fun. It's the 2 broke girls of fun. There is no fun to be had in betting the under. But I'm just gonna give you the data on the under, and I'm gonna let you decide for yourself if you're willing to sit and watch that game and just sit there rooting against Christian McCaffrey. Well, I want to start under on receiving yards. You'll find it right around 37.5. Now, he's been under this line in 3 straight games and 6 of the past 8. And for the Lions defense, going back 7 games, nobody has topped. No runners topped Christian McCaffrey's receiving yardage line. And over that span, the Lions have allowed just 25 receiving yards per game to runners. Now, obviously, Christian McCaffrey's the best running back they face because he's Christian McCaffrey, so anything's possible. But there's a lot of trends to suggest you can go under the 37.5 receiving yards. Let's look at the rushing yards, because apparently that's not enough pain for you, is rooting against Christian McCaffrey's receiving maybe for the whole game. Maybe you want to go contrarian on the rushing yards as well. Our line here, 87.5 rushing yards. PJ, Aaron, Joe, how many runners hit the over 88 against Detroit this year? All of their games, including the playoffs. So we're talking whatever. Is that 20 games? 21?
I'll say
19,
one.
20.
Yeah, it can't be a lot because they've been playing out from out in front, you would think. And God, they're terrible against the pass. So I'll go 2.
2? Yeah, I was thinking 2. 0!
Zero. For Christian
Amazing.
McCaffrey to hit this over, he has to post the best rushing game of any runner to face the Lions all year. Now, granted, he is the best runner to face the Lions all year, and anything's possible. But this line is so far over, in fact, the next closest runner is still 19 yards away from this 88-yard over for Christian McCaffrey. Lions rank number 1 in rushing yards allowed. They rank number 3 in yards per carried allowed, and number 2 in rushing attempts. Teams don't generally run a lot against the Lions, as Joe mentioned. You're oftentimes game scripted out of the running game. The Lions give up just 60 rushing yards per game to the running back position, the whole position. Christian McCaffrey will get the vast majority of that, but we'll see a little Elijah Moore here and there and Elijah Mitchell rather. And so, 88.5, I'm just saying that, look, it's not fun, but the data suggests we go under in receiving yards and rushing yards. What do you guys think? Are you ready to have a no fun Sunday?
Clearly, this line should be a lot higher. Should probably be, based on my numbers, closer to 6.5 or so. But you're paying a tax because it's Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and we know who he is, and we know the priors on him and Andy Reid and all that. So, it's an interesting kind of tug of war between, as a bettor, are you going to trust your actual numbers on the game, or are you going to throw those away and understand that you have the greatest quarterback maybe that we've seen in our lifetime right now in Patrick Mahomes on the other side, and you don't want to fade that. So it's a tough decision in that regard. I mean, I personally haven't taken a side on this game yet. I think, maybe the Baltimore money line paired up with the under. I do think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think both teams are clearly much better against the pass than the run. Kansas City is one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. We know that Baltimore can run the ball from a kind of power formation. Baltimore is one of the best in the NFL, and Kansas City is dead last at defending those types of runs. So you can see a lot of Gus Edwards just kind of right down their throat. Who knows if Willie Gay is going to play or not? But so that could hurt them defensively as well. So that could eat some clock. On the other side of the ball, you've got a great defensive coordinator, Mike McDonald, who'll likely scheme up some really good pressures against Patrick Mahomes. They got Marlon Humphrey back, so they'll try to keep everything underneath. And I think that's another reason why Kansas City might decide to run the ball as well against those kind of two high shell defenses that they're used to seeing. So you could see a lot of running, clock being drained away, and maybe get a Baltimore and an under kind of a combination. So I'm leaning that way from a parlay perspective, but I haven't taken anything yet in that regard.